sometimes they don't. But we have to remind you, look but don't touch. We don't want you reaching up and breaking off any twigs. And you know what, even if there are flowers on the ground, we ask you to leave them on the ground, because you know what, if you put one of those behind your ear or in your hair or in your button, then somebody else is going to think that's nice, and they're going to think, oh, I can just reach up and grab one. And we have a lot more visitors than we have trees, so the trees wouldn't last at all. They're actually on the National Register of Historic Places. This beautiful landscaping of this area is a very, very special natural heritage, and so we want everybody to enjoy, but please don't touch. Now, these trees, as you can see, they're still not quite out, most of them. Well, look at, can you see that blossom? That one's really popped out, and that one, but a lot of the others aren't quite out yet. So officially, we're not at peak bloom. Now, peak bloom means when 70% of all the blossoms on all of the trees are out at the same time. Now, you can imagine that's kind of hard, though, to figure out exactly when that happens. You just kind of look at it and say, well, not quite yet. And so the last I heard, they thought the peak bloom might be about April 1st. So they're gorgeous, but when they're really lots and lots of them are all out instead of still just budding out, will be when we have the peak. So we get to enjoy this hopefully for a week or two all together with, they're not quite out, and then they're all the way out, and then of course then we start to lose the petals. It'll look like snowflakes coming off, and it'll be wonderful all over the ground, but still some will be on the tree. So for a week or two we get to see a lot of pretty stuff. Hi. Oh, she's got a wonderful question. Come look, guys. Look at this. You see this mesh around here? This is actually made out of a plastic. Some of them look like a black corrugated, and some of them look like chicken wire. Those are there to protect us from the beaver. We actually had a problem back, it started in 1998 or 1999. You probably all heard about the beaver attack. Well, it's true. Shh. Well, anyway, we have normally not had trouble with beaver here, although beaver are native to this country, as you know. And we used to have a gazillion, but then they trapped them all. So for a long time, we thought we were just going to be out of beaver, except maybe a few here and there in a zoo or off in the woods someplace. Well, as it turns out, we haven't had beaver problems here because they can't get over this wall. See the sidewalk, and then there's a stone wall that goes down to the water. Those beaver cannot climb over that wall. But what happens if we have a real high tide and maybe a part of the wall has fallen down? Then they have a place to sneak up and attack. And that started 1998. We noticed we had some damage from some of the beaver. So then we had a problem. We didn't want those beaver to chew our trees, did we? No, because these trees are really special. But then the problem is the beaver are pretty special too, aren't they? And in fact, they were here first. Wow. Remember, this used to be a wonderful natural area. Go back to the time of Captain John Smith. In 1608, 402 years ago, he brought a boat up here, and he said the wildlife was here was wonderful. He said there were so many fish, you could even catch those fish with a frying pan. He said that, and he was right. It was just wonderful, all the fish and deer and all. So we were worried about those beaver, as you can imagine. They were here first, but these Japanese cherry trees are a gift. So they're a cultural resource, and the Park Service, you know what? I have the toughest job in the world. It's actually the easiest because I get to work with all you guys and talk to you all day. But the tough part is, well, the easy part is my job is to help you enjoy the resources. That's fun. But the tough part is I also have to protect the resources for the next generation. That would be your daughter when she comes. Can you imagine? Actually, my grandchildren were here last year for the cherry blossom. It's really, really wonderful to share with the next generation. So what do we do about the beaver? Well, what we decided to do was put these covers around the medium to younger trees. They mostly don't mess with the old trees. They want the nice, chewy, tender ones, you know? So we put these covers around them. And you know what we did with the beaver? We put them in the Federal Witness Relocation Program. We did. We relocated them to another park. Now the truth is, though, really hard to do that with wildlife, especially beaver, because beaver are very, very protective of their property. And you know what we used to worry about? We're losing beaver. But if you live out in the suburbs here, you know we've got a lot of beaver now. So I don't think we're ever going to be able to relocate beaver again, because they're out there and they're very protective. If we take some guys from here and move them someplace else, they're going to be in somebody else's territory and they're going to fight to the death. And that would be really, really a shame. But we fortunately did find a place to relocate the last guys. And we put these here to keep the beaver from doing it. And we live trapped those beavers, so they didn't get hurt at all. There was a male and a female and a youngster. A young of the year. We couldn't tell whether it was a boy or a girl yet. It was still too young. But you know, it's kind of nice to know they've come back. And we also have in this park, we have red foxes. We have red-shouldered hawks. We have lots of seagulls, a great blue heron, and we have skunks. Did you know that? And we have raccoons. We have a lot of wildlife in this park. Anybody else? That was a great question. Oh, she had such a good question. She wins a prize. Yay. You hold on to that, okay? Anyone else with a question for me? Why don't we get started again, guys?
Can I keep it? That's yours.